So I'm really stoked to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I have a couple pieces that I'm going to read, and then I'm excited to listen to your pieces. This is called Me in a Nutshell, which is an I Believe poem, and there are quite a few I Believe poems out there, and this one was kind of after Stacey and Chin has a really good one, and Alex Olson has a really good one. And so this one's mine. I believe love is the closest we get to divinity. I believe in waiting patiently on the corner for the light to change. I believe in being kind. I believe that as birds fly and fish swim, humans create. It is our natural mode of operation. I believe the opposite of war is not peace, it's creation. I believe creative expression is a way to get to know what we don't know that we already know. I believe in finding common ground and elevating the discussion and wanting what I have and giving what I need. I believe in paying my library fees. I believe in keeping rocks in my pockets to remind me to stay close to the ground. I believe stones and aerial maps of the ocean floor teach me to fly. I believe to be free is not merely to cast off one's shackles, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. I believe in leaving everything and everyone and everywhere just a little better off than when I found it. I believe when we let go of who we are, we become who we might be. I believe in asking myself how it is I will come alive, because that is what the world needs. I believe in psychics, astrology, epigraphs, crossing fingers at cemeteries, lifting feet, going over a bridge, and ice cream on the hot days. I believe in swimming at the glacier in the summer and chomping icebergs like snow cones. I believe asking for and getting someone's consent is sexy, and knowing the pleasure that you want and how to get it is subversive and revolutionary. I believe gender and power and play and skill are what makes the sex hot. I believe stretch marks and scars are beautiful because they tell the history of the body. I believe the body is a temple to be worshipped, that we are not separate from the earth, but made from the earth. I believe it feels good to shit outside. I believe in cranberries, avocados, and cashews, and redheads, and black ink, and leaving a trail on unmarked canvas, and drawings on skin, and tiny yellow flowers under the chin to check if I like butter. I believe in watching the media, pop culture, consumerism, and celebriality with a critical eye. I believe in turning off the TV and Hulu and Netflix. I believe in accessories, shoes, belts, bags, scarves, and glasses. I believe everything can be canceled. I believe in identifying that which causes pain. I believe suffering and drama are actually optional. I believe everyone is the expert of their own life. I believe in investing in the tools of one's trade. I believe in not finishing a book if I find myself saying those 8 magic words, I don't care what happens to these characters. I believe growth requires the temporary suspension of security. I believe in second chances and red balloons. I believe in wishing on the full moon and fairy rings and dandelions gone to seed and eyelashes and birthday candles and shooting stars. I believe very few people are actually out to get us, but rather are just distracted by their own human drama bubble of daily life. I believe differences are the only way we learn. I believe intentions do matter. I believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt, but still protecting the red-ribbed cage around my heart. I believe you and I are not mistakes. We are stardust. I believe in unfolding my own mythology like an origami swan, asking every day, what will I do with my one wild and precious life? There's a lot of references in there to other people. A lot of these lines I didn't write at all, and I spent, this is one of the pieces that's taken me the longest to write. I spent a couple, 2 maybe years, compiling little quotes and things that I was like, that is what I believe, in the back of my notebooks, and then finally when I had enough of them, I kind of put them all into one big long thing. So like that last line is a Mary Oliver line, and there's a line from Rent, and there's, I forget what else, there's a lot of, somewhere I have the sources of all of those things. The 8 magic words is a Nancy Pearl line, who's a librarian in Seattle. He's a genius. I studied in Seattle. I went to UW in Seattle, and I also studied at Bent, the Writing Institute for Queers over there. I don't know if y'all know about it, but they do some really kick-ass spoken word stuff. And they have a podcast, so you can check that out. Other random things. I'm going to read, this is a poem called How to Survive Your First Year in New York City. Whose first year is it in New York City? Anybody? Oh yeah, that might be relevant for you then. Or maybe not, because it's my experience mostly, and maybe you'll be like, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about at all. It's so easy here, I don't know. No, that was not my experience. How to survive your first year in New York City. 1, Summer. Immediately in the city, everything is just as hard as you've always heard it is. The disgusting humidity, finding an apartment, getting a job, locating friends. But the subways become easy once you get the hang of it, and Manhattan is comprehensible once you orient yourself. Be careful not to over-orient yourself. You will change. Invest in an air conditioner. August will be brutal. Distract yourself by going to every Brooklyn rooftop party you can find. Ask everyone for their New York survival tips. One boy with great hair will say, a solid pair of skater shoes because they're so durable to the constant new relationship of your feet to concrete. A German girl who's lived here 10 years will say an expensive, fancy pair of headphones that she puts on before she leaves the house and takes off only when she gets to where she's going. An older woman from the West Coast will say, nature shows remind her of the earth, and essential oils give her that sense memory. A young queer boy will say a day bag, a perfect day bag full of pockets for all the tools that you need to survive the city. Book, notebook, subway pen, subway map, pens, Manhattan map, MetroCard, water bottle, wallet, hand sanitizers, tissue, smoke cell. That was back when I was smoking. Search everywhere for these tools. Your search will teach you the city. Do not give up until you find them. 2. Fall. When the leaves start to become undone and summer's oppression begins to unravel and the tourists leave, go to the park. Buy a skateboard or rollerblades or a bike or a frisbee. Borrow a dog. Promenade the West Village with a pretty girl. Any pretty girl really will do. Best if she knows the city better than you and can take you to her favorite Mexican restaurant, dive bar, dance club. Fall in love, that'll help. Keep yourself occupied. But be careful not to get too comfortable in her world because you won't be there too long. Do not assume you will get to keep anything from her other than the memories. You are still making your own New York. Join some organizations, make some friends, make some art, take up time. There is much to be done here. Try to figure out what it is you're doing here. Once you figure out what you're doing here, you will know how long it will take to do it, and then you'll know when you can leave. 3. Winter. By the time the first snow falls, you will have an idea of what your own New York looks like. Reread Colson Whitehead's book, The Colossus of New York, and remember that it is only after your favorite Thai restaurant becomes a coffee shop that the city will begin to show you its ghost. This is a good thing, but winter is unrelenting, and you will lose 2 of the 4 of the following: your job, your apartment, your community, or love. It is hard to hold more than 2 very long in this city. Watch those who call themselves New Yorkers. They have these 4 balls in the air constantly, but they rarely touch more than 2 at a time. You probably will lose the girl, the one whose hair swirls, whose breath you feel all the way to your toes, and this will hurt. That's okay. Just feel it. The girl you want isn't in New York anyway. The girl you want wouldn't live in New York. She's too tender and too sensitive to the overstimulation, just like you, but you can take it for a little while. You can learn to put the armor on, and you can learn to take it off. This is how New York makes you strong. 4. Spring. When you've finally given up on the trees, they will start greening again. It is time for a few more things to skitter into place. You'll get some friends suddenly, an instant connection, people to call when something big happens, people who are usually free for beers at the pub on the weekends. You'll get a job that you do not hate. You will begin to learn how to pick up pretty girls in bars and even take them home with you. You will polish your New York armor every day and hang it on the back of your bedroom door. Keep it tucked in your commute like a MetroCard. You'll practice making hearts out of red construction paper again. You will realize you've been meeting the right people all along, and they will begin to come through with tea parties and Prosecco and white wine sangria, and you will throw your own Brooklyn rooftop parties, and everyone will come, and you will give your own advice about survival, and you will begin to feel comfortable here. You'll realize there are so many ways to become yourself in this city. And though New York may exhaust you, you will never exhaust it. Quiet for a slam crowd. Well, that's not quite what I meant. I didn't quite mean the applause, but the reaction. Don't you have a spiel about this isn't, you're not listening to Mary Oliver reading about a bee that's being very serious about life, and then all of a sudden there's a giant metaphor that you don't understand, but you think you should. It's okay. It's not that. It's like upbeat. This is made for people who maybe don't listen to poetry or hear all that kind of stuff. So I brought some copies of my chapbook. It's called Fervor. It's a few years old, and I'm making a new one that's not done yet. And I was hoping to have it done by the fall. It's the fall now. It's not done. I love the fall. But yeah, maybe by the end of fall. But there's still some good pieces in here that I really love and read a lot. And I'm going to read a couple of new things. I'm going to read one new thing, and then I'm going to read an old thing. Push it. This is called unsolicited advice to a new butch. It's also known as the butch poem. There's more to you than this identity. It makes everything make more sense, and without it you might be lost, but with it you are only ever on one path. You contain more multitudes than that. Dance, cook, read, make peace with your body, look at the stars. Don't make everything about you. Willingly admit you are wrong, even if sometimes you know you are right. Eagerly say, I'm sorry. Easily say, I love you, but learn to recognize your own worth. Keep the borders of your kingdom well-watched and flexible. Keep your muscles flexible. Climb mountains. Pick wildflowers, even though they wilt, because they wilt. Don't let people make you wilt. That doesn't have to have anything to do with you. Listen to their stories. Remember that we yell because we do not feel heard. Make a list of the ways you feel heard. Learn how to partner dance so you can make your partner look beautiful, spinning and open mouth laughing on the dance floor. Cook. Read. Make peace with your body. Elevate the discussions over brunch with your buddies and use them to try out your date outfits. Downgrade your t-shirts to work shirts and loungewear and upgrade your presentation. Make a list of places you can wear your very best suit that are not weddings or funerals. If you don't have a suit, invest in a suit. There's a reason it's a classic. It's okay to get it at a thrift store. It's okay to stop shopping at thrift stores now that you know how to use money. Practice rocking a tie on special occasions. Make a list of special occasions. Wednesdays can count as a special occasion. Remember that your lovers crave your skin and friction and kisses not despite, but because of your masculinity. Dance. Practice cooking at least one impressive date meal, and if you like watching them, put something you made in their mouth. Teach yourself more. Read. Make peace with your body. Get a traffic cop vest because you are stuck directing and deflecting in the middle of the intersection between male and female, and though the 50-car pileups have mostly ceased, though they have cleaned the rubble from the ditches, though the seasons have faded the bloodstains on the concrete, you are still there, in the middle, while a pickup truck brushes past close enough to touch the hairs on your calf and a Mazda full of machismo is threatening you from the window. No, you can survive this. Your body crosses borders most of them never question. Dance. Cook. Read books like Stone Butch Blues and Dagger and Butch as a Noun and learn where you came from. Learn who else is out there in the world with you. Suspend your own stories and practice seeing another's perspective. Make peace with your body. Learn to recognize femmes. Even if you don't date them, they recognize you. When a girl on the subway gives you the eyes, she's a femme. When the only straight girl at the dyke bar says she likes your tie, she's a femme. When your waitress jumps in on your conversation with your buddies to ask, so what was that good drag king troupe you mentioned? She's a femme. But two femmes in bed are not just waiting for a butch to come along, necessarily. So don't laugh when someone tells misogynistic jokes in bad taste. Be a gentleman. Practice the art of consensual chivalry. Always be on time, and remember, it's better to have a cock and not need it than to need a cock and not have it. Always be prepared. When the girl you thought you'd spend your life with leaves you, know you can survive this. Pour the whiskey down the drain, keep your stovetop spotless, and delete her number from your phone. Move your best friend up to her speed dial spot and call just to say hi. Cultivate your friendships before your breakups, so you are not alone. You are becoming more like yourself than you have ever been. Trust in your own deepest experience. Trust in your own evolutions. Dance, cook, read, make peace with the supposed conflicts between your breasts, your inner folds, your monthly bleeding, and your cufflinks, your swagger, your monthly boycott number 4, and the razor shave on your neck. You possess this innate ability to contemplate apparent opposites and hold them both, to dance with two seemingly contradictory things simultaneously, a talent most people can never perfect. But you can. And you are not alone. This mentors, this legacy, this lineage, this heritage, this style, this is where you fit. This is where you are not dismissed. This is where you finally get kissed exactly how you've always wished. This is the process of blooming into whatever multitudes you are at the core of your being. Look at the stars. Remind yourself how small we are, how big your life is, and how many paths you are exploring. You can do more than survive this. You can thrive in this. So I know you guys aren't only here for the poetry tonight, because that's not really the only thing that happens on this stage, and I've seen you out there gauging us poets, auditioning us, for our oral skills. Like how fast I can tongue the staccato and how long I can keep the poem rhythm up and hard and driving, pounding, persistent, how much languid, lapping detail I can alternate with tight of teeth and tricky consonants. What? You don't care much for poetry? Never really did it for you? Well, maybe you haven't had the right poet yet. One that can distill truths down to such simple depths that your heart softens and liquefies. Your life on the outside falls away and all you feel is the poem, the line, the phrase, the word, the syllable, the tongue at the teeth, or the pooling of the tongue at the bottom of the mouth, and an Poets, we know about mouths like that. And we know about hands, like where to put them and when to press and when to cradle, when to punch it. And that audience, you're tough. You know how to read the signs, the rhythm, the grind, the accentuation of certain key phrases and crescendos, and if I'm not cradling the space while I'm picking up the pace, if I'm not planted firm and steady while I'm getting you all ready, you're going to know it. You're going to feel it. And it's got to be perfect for me to keep you riding it. My lips, my breath, my words taking you up and the edge of your seat, and because I got the poet's way of looking at the world. It won't be boring or redundant, impersonal, or, unsatisfying. I got my detailed activate variation on the pattern and the rhythm I know you like. You see, I've been on top of this stage a lot. And I know what gets you hot. I know what gets this place bursting. What gets you leaning forward, mouth watering, watching my hips, my chest with my every breath, my hands when I lift and float. And I know you see my fingers. Writing gives us all that extra dexterity, but you already knew that. You've seen what writers' hands can do, where they can go, what kind of thin tacks they can bring. What it's like to have the ring of a dismount in your head, clinging and blazing like the denouement after climax when your body tingles and frays for days. And me, it just takes some simple little phrase, and I'm gone. I'm yours. I'm standing all here under all these bright lights, my every fault shining through, my character, an unwilling flaw in everything I do, and I'm opening to you. So you may catch a shimmering glimpse of what happens inside in that moment of terror when I'm cracked open and seeping from all my tender places, and you may just see what's inside of me is inside of you, too. So bring it on. Watch me up here, watching you on display, doing all the work. You can just sit back and take it. But I'm sure you know that letting it in is just as much work as dishing it out. And me, I'm doing this just for you, because I know how much you want it, secretly to be rocked by some sweet piece of hair, just for you. My feet planted firm, my wrist strong and pulsing, just for you. My tongue against my teeth, this mic, my chosen instrument, just for you. My body, my tone, my placement, my poem, I put it out there, and you can decide. If you came here tonight, you found the right one. I have some